Monica, if you're gonna ruin my night, then leave.
I'll leave.
She had spent 4 months planning this night. Every candle, every centerpiece, every single rose petal placed on those tables, she chose it. She approved it. She paid for it. And now her husband of 13 years was standing in front of his entire family, his colleagues, his mother, and pointing at the door. "Monica," he said, loud enough for the room to hear. "If you're going to ruin my night, then leave." The room went quiet. 80 people, all of them watching. And Monica Brooks, she didn't cry. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't throw a drink or slam a door. "Monica," he said, loud enough for the room to hear. "If you're going to ruin my night, then leave." Just looked at him for a moment. Then she picked up her clutch, smoothed her dress, and walked out. What happened in the next 20 minutes? Nobody in that room was prepared for it. Let's stay in that room for a second, because something important happened there that most people missed. When Darius said those words, there was this half second where he smiled. Not a big smile, just the corner of his mouth. The kind of smile a person makes when they think they've won something. His mother, Gloria, was sitting at the head table. She looked down at her glass. His co-worker Marcus, who had been laughing all night, went completely still. A woman named Diane, Monica's closest friend since college, who had flown in from Atlanta for this party. She looked at Monica, not with shock, with something closer to recognition, like she had been waiting for this moment for a long time. Monica didn't look at any of them. She looked at Darius, directly. No expression on her face. No tears. Nothing. And then she left. The conversation slowly started back up. People picked up their champagne glasses. The band started playing again. Darius straightened his jacket and laughed something off to the man standing next to him. He thought it was over. He thought she was gone. He had no idea that she was standing outside in the parking lot and that her phone was already in her hand. Monica and Darius met at 24. She was working as an assistant event coordinator at a hotel in Charlotte. He was there for a corporate conference. Young, ambitious, wearing a suit that looked a little too big for him, trying very hard to seem important. He left her his card at the check-in desk. She thought it was corny. She called him anyway. Their first date was 4 hours long. He talked about his dreams. She talked about hers. He said she was the most focused person he had ever met. She said he was the most determined. They got married 3 years later. Small ceremony. She planned it herself. Under budget. Perfectly executed. Everyone said it was the most beautiful wedding they had ever attended. That was Monica. That was always Monica. She had a gift. Not just for organizing things, for understanding how people feel when they walk into a room. What makes them relax? What makes them feel seen? What makes a moment stick with someone for the rest of their life? She spent the early years of their marriage building that skill quietly, while Darius built his career loudly. He got promoted. She celebrated him. He got a bigger title. She threw the dinner party. He landed a new client. She prepared the presentation notes he forgot. And somewhere along the way, the people in their world started to see Darius as the star and Monica as the background. She didn't fight it. She told herself it didn't matter. What mattered was that they were building something together. But there were signs. Small ones at first. Darius started correcting her in public. Not arguing, correcting. Like she had said something slightly wrong, and he needed to fix it for the benefit of whoever was listening. He started talking over her at dinners. Not rudely. Just before she could finish. He started calling her ideas cute when she pitched them. Even when those same ideas ended up working perfectly, then the bigger things started. He stopped asking about her work. He stopped coming home for dinner. He started working late, or said he was. Monica noticed. But she was also busy. She had started taking on private clients for event planning. Small jobs at first, then bigger ones. Her reputation was growing, quietly, the way it always did with her. She told Darius about a corporate gala she had just landed, a major account, the kind that could change things for her. He said, "That's great, babe," without looking up from his phone. She let it go, and she kept letting things go, until the banking alert that changed everything. It was a Tuesday morning in October. Monica was at the kitchen table going through their household accounts, something she had always managed, because Darius had never been interested in the details, when her phone buzzed. A low balance alert on an account she did not recognize. She stared at it. The account was linked to their bank. Same routing number, but the account number was one she had never seen. She called the bank, explained she was seeing an unfamiliar account. The representative asked for verification, asked a few questions, and then, very carefully, confirmed that yes, the account existed under Darius Brooks's name. Monica thanked her and hung up. She sat there for a long time. Then she opened her laptop. It took her 40 minutes to find the email thread. It was in a folder Darius had created years ago under a name that looked like a spam filter, just a string of letters and numbers that blended into the background. She opened it. The messages with Jasmine started 14 months ago. They were not ambiguous. They were not friendly coworker messages. They were detailed, personal, and expensive. Hotel stays in Nashville, Raleigh, Atlanta. A weekend in New York. Jewelry receipts. Spa appointments. A designer bag. Monica read every single one. She didn't cry yet. She would cry later, alone, in the shower, where no one could hear. But not now. Now she kept reading. She found the transfers. Money moved out of their joint tax refund, $11,000, into that private account. Money pulled from the home renovation savings they had been building for 2 years. $17,000. Gone. She found the fake company. Darius had set up an LLC, Brooks Consulting Solutions, that existed only on paper. He had been submitting fake invoices to his employer for services that were never rendered, routing the payments through that LLC and back to himself. It had been going on for nearly 2 years. Monica looked up from her laptop. The house was completely quiet. She thought about 13 years. She thought about every dinner party she had thrown to help his career, every contact she had made for him, every time she had stood in the background so he could stand in the front. She thought about the home renovation fund. She thought about the trip to Italy they had talked about for years. She thought about the weekend in New York and those hotel receipts, and how Darius had told her he was there for a sales conference. She closed her laptop. She made herself a cup of coffee, and she started making a list. Monica had a friend named Diane. Diane wasn't just a friend. She was an attorney, a very good one, and she had been telling Monica for 18 months, carefully, without pushing, that something felt off about Darius. Monica called her that afternoon. She didn't say much on the phone. Just, "I need to see you. This week. Bring your work brain." Diane was on a flight from Atlanta 2 days later. They sat at Monica's kitchen table for 6 hours. Diane reviewed everything Monica had found. She asked questions. She took notes. She made calls of her own. By the end of that night, they had a folder. Bank statements printed and organized by date. Transaction logs with highlighted amounts. Screenshots of the email chain. The LLC registration documents. The fake invoices matched against actual company policy on reimbursable expenses. Diane looked at Monica across the table and said, "This is not just a divorce case. This is fraud." Monica nodded. "What do you want to do?" Diane asked. Monica thought about it. "I want to finish planning his birthday party first," she said. Diane stared at her. Then she laughed. Not because it was funny, because she understood exactly what Monica meant. Monica did not change a single thing about the party. She confirmed the venue, confirmed the catering team, confirmed the band, the photographer, the lighting company, the bartenders, the rental company bringing in the furniture and the linens and the chandeliers. Every vendor, every contract, all signed by Monica Brooks, not Darius. Monica. She finalized the guest list. She sent the reminders. She arranged the floral delivery. She personally met with the head chef to walk through the menu one more time. She did all of it. She smiled through every conversation. She answered every question about the party with the same warmth and professionalism she always had. And every night, after Darius went to sleep, she sat at that kitchen table and worked through the legal documents with Diane over video call. She was not angry. Anger would have made her sloppy. She was focused. She had always been the most focused person in the room. The venue was stunning. It was a private ballroom in downtown Charlotte. Warm lighting, floor-to-ceiling drapes, round tables with ivory linens, and tall floral centerpieces. A live jazz quartet in the corner. A cocktail hour spread that looked like something out of a magazine. Darius walked in and looked around and said, "This is incredible." He said it to the room, not to Monica. His mother, Gloria, came up and squeezed his hands and told him how proud she was. Executives from his company arrived. Old college friends, neighbors, family members from out of town. Monica moved through the room, checking in with vendors, making sure the evening was running exactly the way it was supposed to run. She was wearing a deep green dress. Simple, elegant, hair pulled back. She looked like someone who was completely at ease. Darius took his seat at the center table. He was laughing. He was loud. He was in his element. About 2 hours into the night, Monica slipped away to check in with the kitchen. One of the appetizer courses needed to be timed with a transition in the program. She had a 5-minute conversation with the catering manager and came back into the main room. Darius was at the bar. He had been talking to a group of his colleagues. When he saw her walking back in, something crossed his face. Later, people would try to explain it. The best they could do was, he looked annoyed, like she had walked into a moment he wanted to own by himself. He said something to her quietly. She responded. No one heard exactly what was said. And then, loudly, he said it. "Monica, if you're going to ruin my night, then leave." The music didn't stop, but the people nearby did. Monica looked at him. 1 second, 2 seconds. She picked up her clutch from the table. She walked out. The parking lot was quiet. Monica stood next to her car under a white light and took 3 slow breaths. Then she opened her phone and called Miguel, the catering manager. "Miguel," she said, "it's Monica. I'm stepping out for the rest of the evening. Per our contract, all service direction goes through me. Since I won't be available, please pause service until further notice." Miguel, who had worked with Monica for 3 years and understood exactly what it meant when she used her professional voice on a personal call, said, "Understood." Pausing now, she hung up. She called the band's booking contact. "Hey, it's Monica Brooks. I need you to let the band know they can wrap up. We're ending early. Per contract, full payment is already processed. Thank you." She called the photographer. She called the bar company. She called the rental coordinator. Each call took less than 90 seconds. Then she put her phone in her clutch, leaned against her car, and waited. Inside, it started slowly. The servers stopped moving through the room. A few guests looked around, confused. Someone flagged a server who said, quietly, that service had been paused. The band finished their song, and then stopped. The bar closed. Within about 4 minutes, the room had gone from a celebration to something very different. People were standing in clusters. Servers were clearing glasses, but not bringing new ones. The lighting, on a timer Monica had programmed, shifted slightly, from warm and festive to flat and functional. Darius looked around. He flagged down a server. "What's happening? Why did the band stop?" The server said, "I'm sorry, sir. We've received instructions to pause service." From who? From Mrs. Brooks. Darius went to find the catering manager. Miguel met him at the kitchen entrance, politely, professionally, and explained that he was operating under the terms of his contract and had received direction from the contract holder. Darius's face changed. He went back into the main room. People were confused. A few guests had already started gathering their things, uncertain if something had gone wrong. His mother found him by the bar. Darius, what is happening? He didn't have an answer. Marcus walked over and said, Did something happen with Monica? I saw her leave. Darius started to say something, started to give some version of a story, and then stopped. Because Diane had just walked into the room. Diane had been in the parking lot with Monica the entire time. And she was not carrying champagne. She was carrying a folder. She crossed the room calmly. She reached Darius. She handed him a sealed envelope. Divorce petition, she said, and a notice that a forensic accounting firm will be reviewing all joint finances going back 5 years. There's also a separate letter in there for your HR department. But that one can wait until Monday. The people closest to them heard everything. Then Monica walked back in. She didn't make a speech. She didn't cry. She didn't point at him or raise her voice. She walked to Gloria and said, quietly, I'm sorry you had to be here for this. I love you. I hope you understand. Gloria looked at her son, then back at Monica. Her eyes were full. I do understand, Gloria said. Monica hugged her. Then she walked out again. For good this time. Within 10 minutes, the remaining guests began to leave. Not dramatically, not loudly, just one group at a time, collecting their things, saying their goodbyes to no one in particular. Darius stood in the middle of the room that Monica had built, surrounded by flowers Monica had chosen, under lighting Monica had designed, and watched his birthday party empty around him. The investigation moved quickly. Diane had spent those weeks before the party building a legal strategy that was already fully prepared the night she walked into that ballroom. The divorce filing was real, and attached to it was a full accounting complaint. Every transfer, every fraudulent invoice, every penny moved out of their shared finances. The forensic accounting firm got to work. What they found went beyond what Monica had uncovered on her own. Additional accounts. More transfers. The fake consulting company had submitted over 60 invoices to Darius's employer over 22 months. His employer was notified. They launched an internal audit. Darius was placed on administrative leave within the week, terminated within the month. The matter was referred to outside investigators. The affair became public the way things become public in a professional community. Not through Monica, not through Diane, but through the quiet information spread that happens when someone's career suddenly falls apart and people start asking questions. Jasmine had known nothing about Monica's investigation. She had believed Darius was leaving the marriage on his own terms. When the truth came out, she ended things immediately. Darius lost his executive position. He lost the professional reputation he had spent 15 years building. He lost the respect of the colleagues who had laughed with him at that birthday party, and the people who had watched Monica walk out of that room, quietly, with her head straight and her dress perfect, started to understand what they had actually witnessed. The day Monica signed the final divorce papers, she drove to a small park near her old neighborhood and sat on a bench by herself for about an hour. She thought about 24-year-old Monica, standing at a hotel check-in desk, thinking a man's business card was corny. She thought about everything she had built in 13 years. Not what she had built with Darius. What she had built herself, quietly, while the world was looking at him. The client list. The reputation. The skill that had made that birthday party the most talked-about event in Charlotte, for reasons nobody expected. She sat there until the sun moved. Then she got in her car and drove to her new apartment. She had a meeting in the morning. The divorce settlement included a full recovery of the funds redirected from their joint accounts, plus a forensic calculated share of the assets that had been obscured during the marriage. Monica took her portion and did exactly what she had been thinking about for 2 years. She registered Brooks Signature Events, LLC. Not the fake kind, the real kind. She signed a lease on a small office in uptown Charlotte. She hired one assistant, a young woman named Priya who reminded Monica of herself at 23. She built a website. She reached out to the clients she had worked with under other companies' names and introduced herself as the person who had actually done the work. They already knew. Within 6 months, Brooke's signature events had a waiting list. She designed a charity gala for a hospital foundation that got written up in 2 regional publications. She landed a contract with a hotel group for their full corporate event calendar. She was approached by a celebrity couple in Atlanta for their engagement party. Diane came back for that one, not as an attorney, as a guest. They stood at the edge of the terrace, glasses in hand, watching everything run exactly the way it was supposed to run. Diane looked at Monica. "You good?" Monica looked out at the room. The flowers, the lighting, the music, the people. "Yeah," she said. "I really am." On a Sunday morning about 8 months after the divorce was finalized, Monica was sitting at her kitchen table now, in her apartment, in the life she had built for herself, when her phone rang. It was Gloria. Darius's mother had stayed in contact. Not frequently, but consistently. A text here, a call on Monica's birthday. Small things that said, "I see you. I know what happened. I'm sorry." They talked for an hour that morning. About nothing specific. About everything. At the end of the call, Gloria said, "I want you to know something. He had the best things because of you. I knew it then. I just didn't say it enough." Monica looked out her window. "I know," she said, "but I think I needed to find out what I had because of myself." There was a pause. "You were always the best thing in that family," Gloria said. "I hope you know that." Monica smiled. "I'm starting to," she said. She didn't win by fighting. She didn't win by screaming or making a scene or making sure everyone knew how badly he had treated her. She won by knowing exactly what she had built, exactly what she was worth, and exactly what happened when someone forgot that she was the one holding everything together. She didn't collapse the party out of revenge. She just stopped holding it up. And when you spend 13 years being the foundation of something, and someone tells you to leave, you don't fall apart. You walk outside, and you make some phone calls. If this story hit you somewhere real, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you've ever been the person doing all the work while someone else took the credit, drop a comment below. You are not alone. Subscribe for more stories like this every week.